Dr. Enzo was one of the richest and most respected doctors in New York. Known for his intelligence and skill in surgery, he was often called around the world for important medical operations. One week, he traveled on his private jet to California for an urgent medical surgery. After successfully saving the patient's life, he returned to New York, where his hospital and family were waiting for him. Enzo lived in a large mansion with his beautiful wife Clara, their daughter Thelma, their son Clark, and Enzo's elderly grandmother. Clara was pregnant with another child and worked at a bank in the city. The family lived a comfortable life. Enzo owned 3 luxury cars: a black G-Wagon, a green Lamborghini, and a blue Mercedes-Benz. Every morning, Enzo drove his children to high school before heading to work. Clark loved playing basketball, while Thelma enjoyed volleyball and spending time with her friends. Thelma was the pride of her father, tall, intelligent, beautiful, and always smiling. Meanwhile, Enzo arrived to the bank for work while the grandmother stayed home with the housemaid taking care of the house. At the hospital, Enzo greeted his colleagues warmly. His best friend David, who also worked there, welcomed him back. The 2 friends walked into Enzo's office laughing and talking about work. Enzo opened a bottle of wine, poured 2 glasses, handed one to David, and they toasted to another successful surgery. One evening, Clara suddenly went into labor. Enzo quickly rushed her to the hospital where he worked. Nurses hurriedly brought a hospital bed and took her into the delivery room. Enzo stood beside the doctors and nurses as they helped Clara deliver the baby. After some time, Clara finally gave birth to a healthy baby boy. They named him David. Enzo sat beside her smiling proudly as they both admired their newborn son. The family returned home happily, celebrating the birth of the baby together with laughter, food, and joy. However, the happiness did not last long. One afternoon at school, Clark was busy playing basketball while Thelma was spending time with her friends near the school field. When school ended, Clark went to look for his sister so they could go home together as usual. He called her phone, but it kept ringing with no answer. Confused, he called again. Still nothing. Worried, Clark called his father, Enzo, at the hospital and asked if Thelma had already gone home. Enzo said no. Clark then called his mother, Clara, but she had not seen her either. Fear quickly began to grow. Enzo and Clara rushed to the school immediately, where they found Clark sitting alone and crying in fear. The police were called. Officers questioned students, teachers, and security guards. They searched the school grounds, the nearby streets, and checked security cameras from nearby shops and supermarkets. But there was no sign of Thelma. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. Still, nothing. The sadness and stress slowly destroyed the family's peace. Enzo's grandmother, who loved Thelma dearly, could not bear the pain of her disappearance. One day, she suddenly became very sick and collapsed at home. Enzo rushed her to the hospital, doing everything he could to save her. But despite all his efforts, she passed away. In just 1 month, the family had lost one loved one, while another was still missing. Enzo was completely devastated. Weeks later, Enzo continued his usual Sunday tradition of visiting his wealthy uncle, Mr. Ben, who owned a large fruit and food store in New York. That Sunday, Enzo arrived at Mr. Ben's house with They sat together at the dining table, talking and enjoying dinner. After a few minutes, Enzo politely excused himself to use the bathroom. While inside, he suddenly heard a faint sound. It sounded like someone crying. At first, he thought he imagined it, but then he heard it again. A desperate scream, coming from beneath the floor. He pressed his ear closer to the ground and listened carefully. There was no doubt. Someone was trapped underground. Without wasting another second, Enzo quickly called 911. Unknown to everyone, Mr. Ben had secretly kidnapped Thelma and hidden her in a locked underground room beneath his house. When the police arrived, Mr. Ben tried to escape through the back door, but officers quickly caught and arrested him. The police searched the entire house and soon discovered a hidden underground room. Inside, they found Thelma. She was tied to a chair, weak, tired, and frightened after months of captivity. When the officers untied her, she immediately ran toward her father. Finally, the nightmare was over. They brought Thelma home. And once again, peace returned to their home. The end.